Morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. DETR has made this week thanks to the dedicated staff who have been working through what you know to be historical levels of unemployment claims. These DETR team members have shown up throughout the duration of this pandemic to work through claims and connect Nevadans to their benefits. I want to thank the governor and his staff for their daily and sometimes hourly support and assistance. Their dedication sometimes goes unnoticed, but their work helps our organization immensely. I also want to thank the many different state agencies and departments who continue to go above and beyond to assist DETR. Thank you to each of the directors and the team members who have bent over backwards to offer resources, time, and assistance. I'm joined today by DETR's Chief Economist, Dave Schmidt, who will be walking us through the unemployment insurance and the pandemic unemployment insurance data. Dave is also going to provide an overview of the May unemployment numbers. Hand the mic to you, Dave.
Thank you, Director. And can we put up the pie chart, please?
Take off your mask.
Oh, yeah. Standard unemployment insurance is for individuals who lose their job through no fault of their own. These are people whose employer paid into unemployment insurance and who both earned wages and worked enough hours to be eligible for those benefits. As of June 13th, we show a total of 545,805 initial claims, or total claims filed in the standard unemployment insurance system on the UINB site. However, this number includes new unemployment claims, claims that have been reopened with or without intervening employment, and other potentially duplicated claims, such as people entering the PEUC program. Only 357,400 claims have a week available in the system to file for benefits as of June 6th, 2020. Diving into that number a little bit more, of those eligible filers who filed weekly claims, 262,420 of them, or 90%, of eligible claims were successfully paid. And this is an increase of a couple of percent from the previous week. 17,751 filers were employed or not eligible because they had earnings for the week over their weekly benefit amount. This could include people who were paid out leave, as well as people who were returning to work. This is almost double what it has been in previous weeks as we start to see people returning to work and starting to earn wages again. 4,640 claims had insufficient hours or wages to be paid for UI benefits, at least for this week on their claim. 46,975 did not file a claim for the this includes people who started but did not finish their weekly claim, never started filing, or contacted us to report that they were not going to file a weekly claim for the week. Federal law does require that filers file weekly claims in order to receive payment. Finally, there are 23,777 pending claims. This is again a decrease from the previous week of almost 10,000 claims. These are filers whose claims are being held because federal and state law require DETR to adjudicate their claims. This number is down again from the previous week, also reflects people going back to work and probably not needing to file claims anymore. And DETR staff is working diligently to help resolve outstanding claim issues. In recent weeks, I know this has been as high as 40,000 or more. DETR has also paid out across all programs, unemployment insurance and pandemic unemployment assistance, $3.4 billion in unemployment benefits at the start of the pandemic. And can we please switch to the PUA chart? As of 7 a.m. this morning, June 19th, 2020, there have been 147,460 initial PUAs with a total of 1,478,673 weekly PUA claims. The data indicates that of that 147,000 initial claims, an estimated 40,800 claimants have not filed weekly claims. That's about 28% of initial claims. PUA claimants, in addition to regular UI claimants, must file weekly certifications in order to be paid. Of the 106,000 eligible PUA claims, DETR has paid 78,734 individual claims for a total of 658 million in PUA and PUA federal pandemic unemployment compensation dollars. We can take the chart down. In April, Nevada's unemployment rate was revised to 30.1%. That is the highest rate of unemployment for any state in any month on record. The unemployment rate for May was 25.3%, which we released earlier this week. While this is a significant decline from April, it still reflects the state in the middle of the COVID-19 business shutdown. Further, Nevada's labor force has declined by about 150,000 people since February. If you add our total unemployment of 350,000 to that 150,000 drop in the labor force, this shows that approximately 500,000 Nevadans have been displaced due to COVID-19. This number is actually very similar to what we see in our UI and PUA activity. If you add the 350,000 or 357,400 active UI claims to the 147,500 initial PUA claims, you get a total of 504,900 claims. Employment in May follows a similar trend to unemployment. While there was a significant rebound from April's lows, the broad trend is similar to April and down about 17% overall. Accommodation and food service remains the hardest hit industry, down over 40% over the year, and followed by other services, administration and support services, and retail trade. In May, the construction industry performed the strongest, adding about 2,300 jobs over the year. When data for June is released next month, it'll reflect the week of June 17th to June 13th. It's important to note that our May data reflects a week in the middle of May that includes the 12th. And so it was prior to the start of significant business reopening in the state. June data will capture the early stages of the state's broader reopening and will likely see further significant improvements in the state's unemployment and employment picture. Finally, on June 8th, the National Bureau of Economic Research determined that economic activity in the US reached a peak in February of 2020. This means that the United States is now officially in a recession due to COVID-19. The recession will last from the peak to the lowest point of declines, at which point a new expansion and recovery will officially begin. I'll back to you.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Dave. So as you can see from the data that we've shown you today, DETR has made great progress in processing both the unemployment insurance and pandemic unemployment assistance claims. Based on automated jobs that we've implemented this past week, we anticipate that both of those numbers will continue to processing over the next 2 weeks. I want to remind both UI, unemployment insurance, and PUA claimants that DETR cannot pay on your claim if you do not file weekly claims. Please make sure you file your weekly claims at either UINV or employnv.com. The rest of my prepared comments are really going to be spent providing answers to questions that the department has received over this past week, and I want to start with some related to PUA. We've had questions about how to file for PUA. So if you're new to the EmployNV system, you want to file for PUA, you click on the File a PUA Claim button. If you're registered or you're a returning EmployNV user, you need to sign in, click on Unemployment Services from the menu on the left, and then click File a Claim. Many people have about information that DETR sent to the Legislative Counsel Bureau that was reported on earlier this week. The CARES Act provision for PUA requires some, but not all, of the same level of claim and process analysis that the standard UI does. DETR has 8 dedicated quality assurance adjudicators that review eligibility for standard unemployment insurance against the eligibility of PUA claims to ensure that there is no UI eligibility prior to releasing a PUA payment. That is mandated under the CARES Act. While it is accurate that there were thousands of issues, issues are not representative of claims. Each claim can have several issues. Much of the work to resolve issues has now been automated, as is reflected in today's numbers. Automation provides additional filtering to our staff to minimize the number of required manual interventions. DETR continues to leverage these adjudicators as subject matter experts in unemployment insurance law in order to help us continue to streamline the PUA systems and processes to release payment as quickly as feasible within federal law. We also continue to use our Alorica adjudication staff that can process claims that do not have overlapping considerations with unemployment insurance. Once DETR has determined that a claimant is eligible for a PUA payment, we pay on the self-attested wages, meaning whatever you attested to and self-certified, we will pay on based on those wages, and we will adjudicate the the precise wages after the fact. Adjudicating wages on the back end of a claim is not an option for us in the standard unemployment insurance, but the CARES Act does allow for this flexibility, and PUA and our department is utilizing that option. Many of the claims that have been filed have been identified as potentially fraudulent. DETR has implemented various measures to proactively freeze payment and investigate both known and suspected fraud. Nevada is coordinating with other states, along with the Attorney General's Office, the FBI, and the Secret Service to stop fraudulent claims prior to payment. I want to remind everyone that unemployment fraud is a felony under NRS Chapter 612. Because DETR is actively working with law enforcement on detection and subsequent prosecution of fraud, we cannot provide details on the numbers of pending and confirmed fraudulent claims. Many individuals and organizations have reached out with concerns over the past few weeks about both PUA and standard UI fraud. We want to remind people that if you suspect fraud, please file a report with DETR's fraud unit by visiting detr.nv.gov. We encourage anyone who believes that they've been a victim of identity theft to also contact the Attorney General's office. There are many ways for PUA claimants to file or to receive their PUA funds, and DETR recommends that claimants either select direct deposit into an FDIC banking institution, or they select a DETR-issued debit card. Federal law prevents claimants who are eligible for UI from obtaining PUA benefits. So as I said earlier, DETR must determine if a claimant has the potential to file for an alternate base period that would allow them to get access to regular unemployment insurance. If a claimant has filed for PUA and it is determined that they are in fact eligible for UI, they will be notified as such. DETR's PUA vendor is actively recruiting, hiring, and training call center representatives and adjudicators to assist with the volumes of claims that we are currently receiving. Last week, I reported on our efforts to prevent robocalling apps from jamming the phone lines within the PUA call center. We are seeing some minimal relief from these efforts, and we're working closely with our vendor to ensure that callers can get through to the call center. We're asking claimants to refrain from using apps to robocall the lines in order to ensure that more calls are accepted and more claims can be addressed. I want to provide a few more generalized updates. The state's unemployment site, UINV, and our call center for unemployment insurance will be down temporarily on Saturday, June 20th, to allow the state for system upgrades and maintenance by our statewide enterprise information technology services. The PUA site and our call center will not be impacted. You can continue to call the Alorica call center. You can continue to file claims on the PUA site. The Employment Security Division is actively hiring and training staff for the Unemployment Division to assist with claims, adjudication, and fraud, employment claims, and help in our PUA centers. So applications are being accepted at nvapps.state.nv.us. Between the cloud-based phone system, the hiring of additional staff, and the significant work we've done to release payments to claimants, DETR has seen that the standard UI phone queues stay open for longer periods of time, and that results in more people and more callers getting through to our claims staff. As our governor phases in reopening, working with our workforce and Job Connect partners throughout the state to develop options for training and assistance to connect Nevadans back to the workforce. Because we are not yet in phase 3 of our reopening, we're working with our partners on how best to deliver Job Connect services through online platforms, virtual appointments, and other methods. The disruption from this pandemic will inevitably create changes to the way that businesses operate and provide their services. DETR is looking closely at how we can best train the workforce to thrive in this new landscape. Thank you for your interest and your collaboration. And Rosa, I'm happy to answer any questions that, that reporters may have.
Thank you. I'd like to announce that we are now accepting questions on both the Q&A and the chat room, if you are so inclined. Our first question is, excuse me, is from Kate Hudson at 8 News Now. Could you elaborate as to what some of the top reasons people are being found ineligible for PUA benefits?
Yeah, so the top reason that individuals are being found ineligible for PUA is because we're finding that 60% of those unpaid claims that are in PUA right now to be eligible for unemployment insurance. Federal law prescribes that DETR must pay UI before we can ever pay any PUA. So if there's eligibility for unemployment insurance, we may not pay on PUA according to federal law.
Thank you. Just one more. This is from Mike Shoro. Really hear from readers who filed for unemployment within the first few days. The states shut down in March that still haven't had their claims processed. Meanwhile, there are other claims filed after that time that have been processed and paid. Could you elaborate as to how this may occur?
Yes, thank you for the question. So we address every claim in the order in which it was received. Some claims that require adjudication and get processed and expedited and paid out. Some have one, and we address those issues in the order in which we receive them. Some claims have several issues that require adjudication. So as the numbers showed this morning, we've seen a significant decline in the issues that are pending, or in the claims that are pending resolution because of those issues. We're working as fast as we possibly can with increasing our staff, addressing those adjudication needs in a manual way, and also finding automated solutions. And as I said in my comments, we believe that the continuation of some of our automated solutions are going to result in that slice of the pie chart shrinking over the next couple of weeks even more significantly.
Okay. And our final question is from one of our claimants online. Can you please elaborate on the status of appeals for PUA? I never got my separation information, and I just want to make sure that I can contact them through the standard avenue.
Sure. So we are planning on launching and creating or having our appeals module live for PUA beginning next week. And we'll have more information on that out early next week about what that means for folks, or by the press conference of next week, we'll be able to describe how to go about doing that.
And then our final question is from Michelle Rindles at thevindy.com. Can you provide a copy of the contract Nevada struck with Geographic Solutions and the form ETA 97178?
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. So we're happy to provide a copy of our contracts. That's all public information. I'd ask that you go to DETRNB.com, or excuse me, .gov, and fill out our public records request. And you can ask for both of those documents. The ETA request that you're asking for is not scheduled to be sent to the Department of Labor until August, but happy to make sure that you can get a copy of it once we submit it.